Now we'll learn about something about conservative forces and non-conservative forces. Okay. So initially, why are we learning about conservative forces and non-conservative forces? So in previous slides we were studying about energy, okay, and you are only interested in mechanical energy. Mechanical energy is divided into two categories, okay, potential energy and kinetic energy. Kinetic energy I have taught you up till now, whatever came in NEET examination. For potential energy, to understand potential energy, you will need to understand these two types of forces: conservative type of forces and non-conservative type of forces. So what are these types, conservative and non-conservative force? As I keep writing the definition, I'll keep on explaining. Okay. So conservative forces and non-conservative forces. Conservative forces. So the first definition of conservative force is work done is based on displacement. Work done is based on displacement. And in non-conservative force, work done by non-conservative force, work done by non-conservative force is based on distance, okay, distance covered by the particle. Okay, work done is equals to force into displacement, or conservative force into displacement. Work done by non-conservative force is equals to non-conservative force into distance, okay, into distance. So in previous problem we did work done by gravity force in a projectile. The projectile was going up and it came down. Maximum height of the projectile was h. Okay. Now while going up, let's see the gravity forces. Gravity forces is always acting downwards, and the velocity initially moved from here to here. See, initial displacement. Okay. So work done in this path only is work done is equals to minus mg h, because displacement and force are in the opposite direction. After that it reached the topmost position, okay, and then it started coming down. So from the topmost position, when it started coming down, the direction of force was, or direction of gravity force was down, and the direction of displacement was also down. So the work done by the gravity forces in this much path only is equals to plus mg, or gravity force, into h. Okay, so total work done is equals to 0. Now see this formula: work done is equals to conservative force into displacement. So can I say work done by gravity force is equals to mg into final position minus initial position? So final position minus initial position is equals to 0, or work done by gravity force is equals to 0. The reason I am taking gravity force is because gravity force is a conservative force, and this scenario of work done is equals to force into displacement is valid for all types of conservative forces. Okay, what are the types of conservative forces that I will be giving you? But now just remember, this type of system where work done is equals to conservative force into displacement is valid for all types of conservative forces. Okay. Now for non-conservative forces, the same problem. But in previous problem, have you noticed you have done a projectile where the ball was going up, it reached a maximum height h, but while going up the velocity was 1000, while coming down the velocity reduced, and I taught you that that a projectile is always vertically symmetric. So what was happening out here? The thing that was happening out here is in kinematics, in entire kinematics, whenever we studied about this projectile, okay, it was always assumed that no air drag forces acting on it. No air drag forces acting on it. But now, this air drags acts on this ball. The air drag is nothing but the friction force exerted by air. Okay, air drag is nothing but the friction force exerted by air. Now let's see. While going up, okay, gravity force is acting down. The body is displaced in this direction, and friction force or air drag force or air friction force is acting downwards. Why? Friction force always acts opposite to the direction of velocity. Direction of velocity. The direction of friction force and the direction of velocity will always be opposite. Okay? So while going up, friction force acts down. Now see, while coming down, what happens? While coming down, the friction force acts downwards. The displacement is downwards. Sorry. While coming down, now see, while coming down, what happens? The velocity is downwards. That means the displacement will be downwards. Therefore, the friction force changes its direction. Okay? So, work done by air drag forces or air friction forces is equals to friction force minus of friction force into initial displacement minus of friction force into final displacement. Okay? Or work done is equals to minus 2 into friction force into displacement. Into H. This H or work done can be also written as minus Fr into 2H. Now this 2H is nothing but distance. This 2H is nothing but the distance. See, H goes up, then H comes down. This 2H is nothing but the distance. So this types of scenario is valid for all non-conservative forces. Okay? This type of scenario is valid for all non-conservative forces. Now, so let's take another example, okay, of a plane. Suppose this is a roller coaster and it started out here. The height between this level, okay, and this level is given as h. Okay. The roller coaster goes in this direction, okay, and goes through the loop and comes down. What is the net work done by gravity? The net work done by gravity is force of gravity, which is acting in downward direction, into displacement. Okay, displacement is final position minus initial position. Okay, I have to give you a new concept, little bit of concept. Final position minus initial position. This is the displacement. Okay, and work done is equals to force dot displacement. Okay, or is equals to mg. Mg is downwards and displacement is towards this direction. So mg into xf into angle between these two direction into cos theta. Okay. Now can I complete this triangle? If I complete this triangle, if this length is xf, what is xf or displacement into cos theta? Displacement into cos theta is nothing but h, the height h. So our work done by gravity forces comes down as mgh. Okay, work done by gravity forces comes down as mgh. Okay, this is how we get mgh. Okay, now for non-conservative forces. So we draw the same diagram, we copy paste the same diagram out here. Okay. We don't need this much things, we just erase whatever unnecessary things are there. Okay. Now suppose a friction force acts on this block. Suppose a friction force acts on this block. Okay. Now what is the work done by friction force when the roller coaster rounds the loop and reaches out here? The work done by friction force is equals to friction force into the entire length of the roller coaster. Okay. It does not depend on displacement, but the entire distance into entire length of the roller coaster. So these types of forces are called non-conservative forces. And whenever distance is used, okay, those types of forces are called non-conservative forces. There is another special property of these conservative and non-conservative forces due to this distance and displacement. Wherever displacement is used, work done is equals to conservative force into displacement. Then energy, okay, can be this force, or the work done against this force can be stored as potential energy. Work done against this force can be stored as potential energy. But I haven't defined potential energy up till now. Okay, so just make a note now. In the few slides later, I'll explain what is potential energy. But for now, the most important thing that you should remember is potential energy exists only for conservative forces. Okay, work done against a conservative force is only potential energy. Potential energy does not exist for non-conservative forces. Okay, work done non-conservative forces cannot be stored as potential energy. Okay. Conservative forces can be stored as potential energy. Just so left hand side was conservative forces, which can be stored as potential energy, and the right hand side was non-conservative forces, which cannot be stored as potential energy. Now what are the examples of conservative, what are the types of conservative forces and non-conservative forces? That you must know. Okay, so gravity forces are conservative forces. Okay, gravity forces. Then spring forces are conservative forces. Okay, electrostatic forces are conservative forces. So electrostatic we'll learn in few chapters later. Okay, but now gravity forces and spring forces are conservative forces. So what are non-conservative forces? Non-conservative forces are friction force, drag force. Then there is another type of non-conservative forces. Okay, Lorentz force. What is Lorentz force? This will be studied in your chapter of electromagnetism. Okay. Now just understand these two things, electrostatic force and Lorentz force. Electrostatic force will be studied in electrostatic chapter and Lorentz force will be studied in electromagnetism. Okay. These are the topics from your class 12. Okay. Now to understand this potential energy that I have been mentioning till now, we'll learn about a case. Okay. We'll learn about a certain case. Okay. So our case is behavior of a pendulum swing. Have you all seen a pendulum swinging pendulum? A pendulum swings as like this. Okay. Suppose this was a pendulum. I picked it up here. What happens? It swings like this. Okay. So behavior of a pendulum swing. Pendulum swing. Now imagine a pendulum is kept. Okay. Out here, my pen was the pendulum, but suppose this pendulum was connected by a rope. Okay. Suppose this pendulum was connected by a rope. Now someone pushed it out here. That means someone pushed it out here. Okay. So our pendulum becomes somewhat like this. Somewhat like this. Okay. And out here the velocity was equals to 0. Suppose it made an angle theta with the horizontal, theta with the vertical. When this pendulum is left, the pendulum will start its velocity in this direction. Okay, that means acceleration is in this direction, and the angle between acceleration and string is always 90 degree. Okay, why? Angle between acceleration and string is always 90 degree. Why? Because in a circle, the angle between radius and tangent is always 90 degree. So see, this pendulum is nothing but a part of a circle. This pendulum was nothing but a part of a circle, a tiny part of a circle. So in this tiny part of a circle, the string will always be perpendicular to the acceleration. Okay. Now let's draw the free body diagram. Tension force acts on this direction, mg force, and acceleration acts on this direction. Now in inclined plane, I have always taught you, always make your component in direction of the acceleration. Okay, so this t, the component of tension force in the direction of acceleration would be 0. Why? T cos 90 is equals to 0. But see this mg force, the component of mg force in the direction of acceleration won't be 0. Okay, there will be some angle between this mg force and the direction of acceleration. So effectively, this gravity force is driving the pendulum, okay, out here to the right hand side. Okay, so let's check what happens when the pendulum is driven by gravity force. It drove the pendulum. Now the pendulum reached out here. Okay, out here the acceleration is equals to 0. Okay, the acceleration is equals to 0. Let's draw the FBD. Tension force T, mg force mg, and there is no acceleration. T is equals to mg. But we see that the pendulum doesn't stop. Okay, the pendulum doesn't stop. It just goes to the opposite end. So why does it go to the opposite end? Because there is somehow, when the pendulum is in this position, somehow this position or this pendulum has some velocity in this direction at the bottommost position. Okay, somehow this pendulum has a velocity at the bottommost position towards the right hand direction. Okay, so where did this get its velocity from? Okay, you might say that mg force acted on the acceleration and gave it some velocity. That's fair and fine. Okay, now see what happens. Third case, when the pendulum from this position goes to the right hand side, it again goes to the right hand side. Out here the velocity keeps on decreasing and v is equals to 0. But out here acceleration means now the acceleration will be acting on this direction because mg is downwards. Okay, so what is happening out here? Can you intuitively see something? Can you intuitively see something that someone, this finger that pushed the pendulum towards top, someone or some force that pushed the pendulum towards this top, okay, somehow stored some energy out here, okay, and this energy is being used to move the pendulum from here till here and again up till here. The pendulum will keep on swinging, okay, in an ideal world, because in real world there is a lot of air friction, therefore the pendulum will come to stop, okay, but in ideal world the pendulum keeps on swinging, okay. So somehow someone stored a lot of energy out here, so the pendulum does its movement, okay. So that kind of energy storage, was done by this force, okay, working against this gravity force, okay, in this direction. So whenever we work against a conservative force, we store potential energy in the body, okay. So before writing down, now you might ask, sir, what about this tension T? T forces or tension forces does no work on this pendulum. Why? The angle between tension forces and the direction of acceleration, or the angle between tension forces and the direction of movement, is always 90 degrees. Okay? T force or tension force is doing zero work. Okay? Because tension force is always perpendicular to the direction of motion or the direction of velocity. So all work done by this pendulum is by gravity forces. Okay, all work done by this pendulum is by gravity forces. All work, see, the pendulum will swing in this direction. Okay? All work is done by gravity forces. Gravity forces. Okay? All work is done by gravity forces. So let's write down what you observed. Okay? While lifting up the ball, okay, an external agent, or my finger, an external agent did some work against the gravity force. An external agent did some work against gravity force. Now this work done against gravity force was stored as potential energy. Now this work done against gravity force was stored as potential energy. Was stored as potential energy. Okay. Now, when the ball was released from the top, this potential energy was converted slowly into kinetic energy as the ball started moving, and at the bottommost point, the potential energy became zero, and the entirety of potential energy was converted into kinetic energy. What is kinetic energy? The energy contained in a body due to its motion. When the ball was released, okay, from top, this potential energy from top, this potential energy was slowly converted into kinetic energy as the ball started moving. Was slowly converted into kinetic energy as the ball started moving. And when the ball came to its bottommost position, potential energy was equals to 0, and this entire potential energy was converted into kinetic energy. Okay, so work done against a conservative force or against a gravity force, which was conservative force in this case, is stored as potential energy. Okay, so from here we understand the definition of potential energy. So what was this potential energy? So now we'll define a little bit about potential energy. So potential energy. So what is potential energy? Okay. Energy stored by doing work against a conservative force is called potential energy. So energy stored by doing work against a conservative force is called potential energy. In some books, conservative force field is given. So the term of field we'll understand in the next chapter, or gravitation, okay, planetary gravitation chapter. For now, just understand energy stored by doing work against a conservative force is called potential energy. So in our pendulum example, our pendulum was like this, okay, unbothered, okay. So potential energy was 0. It was simply lying around. Then somebody came and pushed the pendulum, okay, and lifted it by theta. Okay. So this was our theta. So he stored some potential energy by lifting it. The potential energy stored by a pendulum is given by mgh, where h is the height. Okay, this is the length of the string. But when the string gets put in this position, the projection of this string in this line would be somewhat out here. Okay, so if the length of the string is L, okay, h is nothing but L is the full length, okay, minus even this length is L, okay, L minus L cos theta. Okay, this whole length is L, even this whole length is L. So in order to find out h, we have to minus this L minus L cos theta, okay, which is equals to h. Work done against gravity force is equals to minus mgh. Work done against gravity force in lifting a ball here up till here is given by minus mgh. But sir, now you said force, this work done is against a conservative force, okay, and our displacement was from here to here. So how is it mgh? Okay, so we'll show this in the next slide. For now, just remember, work done in lifting of a pendulum is mgh. Similarly, suppose a spring existed, a simple spring lying around. Now what somebody did was, lying around means potential energy zero, it is unbothered, okay, it will not move now. But somebody came, and what they did was, they pushed this spring towards the left, and the spring got compressed. Okay, spring got compressed. So when the spring got compressed, some amount of energy got stored in the spring, which will be later used to do work. And the amount of energy that got stored into the spring is given by half kx square. So how am I getting this value of mgh or half kx square? This will be shown in next slide. Where x is the compression of spring. Out here, work done against gravity force is equals to minus mgh. Therefore, potential energy is equals to plus mgh. Okay. Potential energy is nothing but minus work done against gravity force. Sorry, minus of work done against a conservative force. Okay. Conservative force. In our pendulum example, okay, pendulum was lying around and we pushed it to this side. Now how it became mgh? Okay, we know that suppose this block or this ball was pushed up till here, we know that final position is out here, initial position is out here. So our displacement vector would be somewhat like this. This is our displacement vector. Our gravity force vector would be somewhat like this. Okay. And this is the angle between gravity force and displacement vector. Okay. Now we know that this angle is theta as given in the question. So if you draw a perpendicular line to this line, we get 90 degree out here. That means this angle is 180 minus 90 minus theta, or 90 minus theta. This is 90 minus theta. Now we know that this angle and this angle and this angle is equals to 90 degree. Why? Because the tangent and the string are always perpendicular. Okay. So if this angle is 90 minus theta, this angle automatically becomes theta. Okay. Now see this thing. Can you see a z out here? Inverted z. See a inverted z out here. If I draw something like this, can you see a inverted z out here? So from parallel lines theorem, if this angle is theta, this angle also will be theta. And this perpendicular line with this line makes an angle of 90 degree. Okay. So you all understood how I got this theta. Okay. So this entire angle is nothing but 90 plus theta. Okay. This much was understood. Okay. So work done against gravity force is equals to mg into displacement d into cos 90 plus theta. In my kinematics lecture, I showed you cos 90 plus theta is nothing but minus of sine theta. Okay, minus of sine theta. Or work done is equals to mg d and minus of sine theta. Okay. Or work done is equals to minus mg d. What is d sine theta? What is d sine theta? If this entire length is d, what is d sine theta? D cos theta becomes this angle. So d sine theta becomes this length. If d cos theta becomes this length, d sine theta becomes this length. So this was given as h in our previous diagram, or d sine theta is actually nothing but h, or work done by gravity forces is equals to minus mgh. Sorry, work done against gravity forces. Okay, so potential energy stored out here would be minus of work done, or potential energy stored out here would be mgh. Okay. Now, similarly, suppose a ball was lying around. A ball was lying around. Okay. It has no potential energy. It has no incentive to move. Okay. But suppose someone came and picked this ball up. Okay. The ball was picked up till here. Okay. By height h. What is the potential energy out here? We know that mgh, potential energy, is equals to mgh. But can someone say how it became potential energy is equals to mgh? Because gravity forces was acting downwards, and someone came and against the gravity force picked up the ball from here and raised it up till here. Okay, raised it up till here. So our displacement is out here. Angle between force and displacement is 180 degree. Work done is equals to mg d into cos 180. Cos 180. Let's not name this d, let's name this h. Let's name the displacement h to be better for us. Okay, better to understand for us. Or work done is equals to minus of mgh. Therefore, potential energy is equals to minus of work done against a conservative force, or is equals to mgh. Okay. Now, our next topic includes. So now we'll study about potential energy stored in a spring. So now we'll study about potential energy stored in a spring. Potential energy stored in a spring. Okay. So suppose a simple spring was lying around of length L. What happens when you compress the spring? What happens if this spring is compressed by this much? What happens? Okay, the spring is compressed by this much. Okay. What is the work done by spring force? So let's draw the free body diagram. If the spring is compressed towards this side, our force will be acting on the right hand side, and force is given by Fs. Our displacement is on the left hand side, or x. Angle between force and displacement is 180 degree. Okay. But now see, what is spring force given by? Spring force is given by kx. Kx, or where x is the displacement. Spring force is given by kx. We learned this in Newton's law of motion, where x is the compression of the spring. Now try to see the problem out here. Okay, as these blocks moves a little bit, 1 centimeter towards left, suppose 1 centimeter. Okay, what happens? This force changes. Okay, and therefore the work done changes. This x is nothing but the bulk or the total displacement. But as soon as we shift this block 1 centimeter towards left, the spring force increases. If I make this s, you will get it confused. Let's name this s. Okay? Or dx. Dx means, or little bit of elongation. K dx. As I move the spring a little bit of towards left, the force changes. Okay, the force changes. Therefore, intuitively, by now we know that work done is equals to force of spring into x. We have to integrate this, or work done is equals to Fs is substituted by k ds. Okay, from here, and x. Okay, this whole term is F, force of spring, and this term is displacement. So work done is equals to k x square by 2, and this work done is negative. Why? Because force and displacement are in the opposite direction, and we know that potential energy stored is equals to minus of work done, or potential energy is equals to kx square by 2. Okay. Now let's do a question out here. Two similar springs P and Q have spring constant Kp and Kq such that Kp is greater than Kq. They are stretched first by the same amount in case A, then by the same force in case B. Same amount case A, same force case B. Work done by the spring Wp and Wq are related as in case A and case B. So what is happening out here? Let's see. There was this spring. Okay, it got stretched. Someone pulled it out here by distance x. Okay, and the spring constant was Kp. Now a second spring Kq was pulled by the same distance x. Okay, what is the work done by external force on this spring and this spring? If it is given that Kp, or spring constant of first spring, is greater than the spring constant of second spring, or Kq. So case A, okay, x is same, x, or displacement x is same. Okay, therefore work done is equals to minus kx dx, or is equals to minus kx square by 2. Okay, because we know that Kp is greater than Kq, so work done by P is equals to minus Kp x square by 2, and work done by Q is equals to minus Kq x square by 2. Now since we know that Kp is greater than Kq, therefore work done by P will be greater than work done by Q. But you might say, sir, this negative sign indicates that more the negative sign, greater is the more the negative sign, lesser will be the value. Okay, they are asking the question about the magnitude. Okay, magnitude of work done. Okay, for now, just remember, in this question they asked us about the magnitude of work done, not the actual work. Okay, and now the second case, case B. What it is case B saying? What is case B actually saying? In case B, the spring of Kp are pulled by a force F, and Kq are pulled by the same amount of force F. Okay, we know that work done in pulling is equals to minus kx square by 2, and force of spring is given by kx. Okay. Now, or what we do now is we replace this. See, if force is equals to kx, we know that force by spring constant is equals to x. Now can I substitute this x out here? I can. So work done becomes minus of k F by k whole square by 2. Okay? Or work done is equals to minus of k by 2 F square by k square. Okay? This k and this k gets cut. Or work done is equals to minus F square by 2k. So why did you replace it? So in this case too, force was given. Okay, there was no mention of displacement. So to find out in terms of force or work done in terms of force, so that's why we substituted the displacement out here. Okay, suppose this was 10 Newton. A force of 10 Newton would stretch it by 1 meter. Okay, 10 Newton per meter. If this was 5 Newton, the same force of 10 Newton would stretch it by 2 meters. Okay, so therefore the stretches might be different, but their forces are same. So in order to find out the work done in terms of force, we substitute this x out here. Okay, so now we know that spring constant of P is greater than spring constant of Q. So work done by P spring is equals to minus F square by 2 kp, and work done by Q spring is equals to minus F square by 2 kq. Okay. We know that kp is greater than kq, therefore work done by Q is greater than work done by P. Okay. Again I am saying they are asking the magnitude of work done. Okay, do not bother about the negative sign. Sir, how do you know? Okay, the question in the option, if you look at the option properly, it is always evident from the options only. Okay, sometimes they'll give you, means they'll not say you this question actually came in AIPMT 2015. That is the same board that makes your NEET paper. Okay, more or less. Okay, so sometimes what they do is, sometimes they give out the question in an arbitrary manner. So you have to understand by checking the option. Okay, not checking the option, it is well understood. If you see the option, the most suitable option is this. Okay, so our correct option is option number C. Okay, now we'll understand the relation between force and potential energy. Relation between force and potential energy and potential energy. So what is the relation between force and potential energy? We know that potential energy represented by U is nothing but minus of work done. Okay, or is equals to minus of F dx. So work done is nothing but F dx. Okay, so potential energy is equals to minus of F dx. Okay, or see out here, change in potential energy. Okay, now there is a something in concept called, in potential energy there is some concept called, there is no term called absolute potential energy. Absolute potential energy does not exist. So what do you mean by that? Just now you said that potential energy stored is equals to work done against a conservative force. Now you are saying potential energy doesn't exist. What I am actually saying is that whenever potential energy is defined, okay, they are defining it from zero potential energy. That means Suppose someone says this has 5 joule of potential energy. That means they are saying the work done is 5 joule minus 0 joule. The work done by external force is taking the body from 0 joule to 5 joule. Okay? There is no, means whenever potential energy is described, okay, it is always described in reference to some base value. Okay? So du, a change in potential energy, is equals to minus F ds. Okay? Or if we take the dx to the left hand side, so du by dx is equals to minus F. So when we differentiate potential energy with respect to x, we get the value of our conservative force. Sir, why only conservative? Because the function of potential energy exists only for conservative force. Okay? So now we'll study about equilibrium. Okay? E Q U I L I B R I U M. Okay? Equilibrium. Equilibrium means net force acting on the body is equals to 0. Equilibrium means net force acting on the body is equals to 0. Whenever you hear the term equilibrium in a question, that means net force acting on the body is equals to 0. That means net acceleration of the body is equals to 0. Okay? Equilibrium means net force on the body is equals to 0. There is no acceleration on the body. Okay? But our point of studying equilibrium is a little bit more. Okay? So basically equilibrium are divided into 3 categories. Okay? Stable equilibrium, neutral equilibrium, and unstable equilibrium. Unstable, I'm writing this short, okay? If I write it whole, you won't get space. Okay? Equilibrium is represented by EQ, okay? Stable equilibrium, neutral equilibrium, and unstable equilibrium. Now what are stable, unstable and neutral equilibrium? We'll learn this stable, unstable and neutral equilibrium from 2 perspectives, okay? From 2 perspectives, so that you will understand it a little bit better. So imagine, let's say this was our first perspective. Imagine an inverted U ball. Okay? This is an inverted bowl or a cup. A ball is kept out here. This is stable equilibrium. How? If we move this ball towards right, the ball will return back to its initial position. If you move this ball towards left, the ball will return back to its initial position. So this kind of equilibrium is called stable equilibrium. See out here, the force is equals to 0. But if you displace the ball returns to its initial position. In case of neutral equilibrium, if we push this, the net force out here is also 0. But if we push this towards left, it will stay out here. If we push this towards right, it will stay out here. So it doesn't matter, means it is unbothered. Okay? It will stay wherever it is. So this kind of equilibrium are called neutral equilibrium. And suppose an inverted cup is kept and you are putting a ball on top of an inverted cup. What is the force out here? The force out here is equals to 0. If we push the ball towards left, what happens? The ball falls off. If you push the ball towards right, even then the ball falls off. So what is happening out here? When you just displace or when you disturb it, okay, the ball moves away from its initial position. Okay, so this kind of equilibrium are called unstable equilibrium. So in order for equilibrium, for the definition, all threes are equilibrium. The net force out here is also zero, net force out here is also zero, and the net force out here is also zero. But what happens when you displace a little? The things behave differently in these three conditions. So let us write the first condition of equilibrium. Okay, first condition of equilibrium means net force is equals to zero. And how can net force is equals to be zero written? So first we study the first condition of equilibrium. Equilibrium means net force is equals to zero. Okay, how is net force is equals to zero? In the previous slide we said force is nothing but du by dx. So if force is equals to zero, can I say du by dx is also equals to zero? So if force is equals to zero, can I say du by dx is also equals to zero out here? Similarly, du by dx is also zero out here. That means force is equals to zero. Even out here, du by dx is equals to zero, which means force is equals to zero. Okay. Now we'll learn it from a different perspective. What was happening out here? Okay. Imagine this inverted cup kept out here. Below the inverted cup, a cup was kept. Okay. This one is the inverted cup. This one is the straight cup. And there is a table or a plane surface. There is a plane surface kept out here. Okay. Now there is a ball out here. Okay. What is the forces on this ball? Out here, stable equilibrium, neutral equilibrium and unstable equilibrium has something to do with potential energy. Okay. Out here I mentioned equilibrium is nothing but force is equals to zero. But you all intuitively know that stable, neutral and unstable has something to do with potential energy. So how are equilibrium and potential energy related? Okay. So let's see out here. The only force we are interested in these three conditions, where a inverted ball in a cup, ball on a table and ball on an inverted cup, are the gravity force. Okay, the only force you are interested is in gravity force. So let's check out here. What is the gravity force? mg. Suppose an external force pushes this ball out here. Okay, pushes this ball towards the left. What is the value of displacement? Value of displacement is towards this side. So what is work done by gravity? Work done by gravity is equals to zero. Why? Work done by gravity is equals to zero. mg x cos 90. Cos 90 is zero because the angle between displacement and force is 90 degree. So if work done by gravity is equals to zero, change in potential energy or increase in potential energy is equals to minus of work done by conservative force is equals to zero. Okay, this I am clear. But now take this case. This ball is being pushed by this external force up on this hill or up on this inverted cup. Okay, so when this ball was out here, okay, when this ball was out here, okay, what are the forces acting on it? Gravity forces, normal forces, and this was the direction of our displacement. Okay, now this was the direction of our displacement. Now see, the angle between normal forces and displacement is 90 degrees. So work done by normal forces is equals to zero. Therefore I am not interested in normal forces. Now see, the angle between mg and x is more than 90. Okay, more than 90. Okay, that means this work done or the value of work done by gravity forces, or mg x cos theta. Theta is nothing but this angle. Okay, we know that this value will be negative. Okay, so work done by gravity forces, okay, work done by gravity forces is negative. We know that out here. Now see, but the magnitude of mgx, this x, will keep on increasing up till h. So we can effectively say that work done by gravity forces is equals to minus mgh, is equals to minus mgh. Okay, fair and fine. So what is change in potential energy or increase in potential energy from here? If the ball was pushed up from here, what is increase in potential energy out here? When the ball reaches out here, increase in potential energy is minus of work done, or is equals to positive mgh. So can you intuitively see, as I push the ball, as some external force push the ball from here to here, they are increasing the potential energy of the ball. Okay. Now what happens when I push the ball out here? This is also h. When the ball is out here, what happens? Let's see. The direction of gravity forces is downward, and the direction of displacement, and the displacement is also towards this side. So what is happening out here? The angle between force and displacement is less than 90. We are not interested in normal force, because normal force does zero work out here, because the angle between normal force and displacement is zero. That's why you are not interested in normal force. Okay, we are only interested in gravitational force. Okay, see, the angle between mg and x is less than 90. Okay, so we know that work done by gravity forces out here, work done by gravity forces out here is equals to mgx. Okay, final displacement minus initial displacement in this final displacement minus initial displacement in this component, becomes mgh. So work done in pushing a ball from here to here is equals to mgh. Therefore potential energy or change in potential energy or increase in potential energy from here to here would be minus of work done is equals to minus of mgh. So can you intuitively see the potential energy is decreasing out here? When the ball reaches out here, the potential energy is decreasing. So now compare this diagram where it was increasing potential energy. Out here it was decreasing potential energy. Out here it is no change in potential energy. Now compare this three diagram with equilibrium. Okay, in stable equilibrium, potential energy decreased a lot. That means potential energy in stable equilibrium is minimum. Okay, so mathematically when we write that potential energy is equals to minimum, we write du by dx is less than 0. Sir, how this one be required? This is a chapter of monotonicity. JEE student will learn it in the chapter of monotonicity, but medical student you don't have to learn. Will the question comes? Maybe 1 in 50 years. Okay, and don't stress over this. This d square u by dx square is less than 0 just means that the potential energy out here is minimum. Similarly, out here no change in potential energy, or there is potential energy does not get bothered. That sentence we write it mathematically as d square u by dx square is equals to 0. And out here potential energy is maximum. Okay, so that sentence mathematically it is written as d square u by dx square is greater than 0. Okay, see, potential energy is maximum out here. Okay, are a combination of these two definition. Okay, this has something to do with graph, study of graphs, but I am avoiding it because you don't require additional knowledge. Okay, This solo sentence define that the net force acting on the body is equals to 0. But the combination of these two sentences means potential energy of this ball is minimum out here. The combination of these two sentences means potential energy does not change. The combination of these two sentences means the potential energy of the ball is maximum out here. Okay, and the solo sentence of du by dx means force is equals to 0 out here. Du by dx means force is equals to 0 out here. Okay, so this was our topic. So out here, now we solve some problems. Okay, the potential energy of a system increases if work done is by the system against a conservative force, can be by the system against a non-conservative force. Whenever option is non-conservative, just check. Upon the system by conservative force. Okay, so when I was swinging the pendulum, or increasing the potential energy of the pendulum by some external force, that was itself the system. This external force did not magically happen out of anywhere. This is a part of this system. Okay, and the entire system increases potential energy. So our correct option is option number A. Okay, now out here, let's read the next question. Okay, the potential energy of a particle in a force field is given by U is equals to A by R square minus B by R, where A and B are positive constant. R is the distance of the particle from the center of the field. For stable equilibrium, the distance of the particle is, wow, for stable equilibrium. Okay, so a relation is given, but for stable equilibrium means force is equals to 0. Okay, and force is equals to 0 means du by dr is equals to 0. I said du by dx is equals to 0, but out here x is given in terms of r, or distance. Okay, therefore du by dr when is equals to 0, we have to differentiate this function a by r square minus b by r with respect to r. So let's write this function before differentiating. Let's write this function properly. Okay, u is equals to a r to the power minus 2 minus b r to the power minus 1. Now I have to differentiate this with respect to r, or becomes minus 2 a r to the power minus 2 minus 1 becomes minus 3 minus b of minus 1 r to the power minus 1 and minus 1 becomes minus 2. So our du by dr becomes okay, minus 2 a r minus 3 plus b r to the power minus 2. And by the definition of equilibrium, this du by dr is equals to 0. Why? Because force is equals to 0 and is equals to 0. So we know that minus 2a r to the power minus 3 plus br to the power minus 2 is equals to 0. Okay, or we shift this ar to the right hand side, b by r square. Okay, I am writing this as like this, by 2 by 2a by r cube. Okay, r square r cube gets cancelled, so r is equals to 2a by b. So you see in this question, this table has no meaning out here. Okay, if they even mention the term equilibrium, we could find out the answer. Okay, so now we'll start about conservation of kinetic and potential energy. This is a new topic in which we'll learn about conservation of kinetic and potential energy. So learn about conservation of kinetic energy and potential energy. So this theorem, or the theorem of conservation of kinetic energy and potential energy, says that the total summation of kinetic energy and potential energy of a body always remains constant unless a non-conservative force acts on it. Okay? The total sum of kinetic energy plus potential energy of a body remains constant okay, unless a non-conservative force acts on the body. Unless a non-conservative force acts on the body. So what did this say? This thing said nothing but, suppose there was a body, there was a stone lying around. I picked this stone up, some external force picked this stone up, gave it some potential energy. Okay? And the force went away. Okay? Now this stone has a potential energy of mgh. Okay? And it is hold, means the force is still holding it, but it didn't leave it. So while holding it, kinetic energy is equals to 0. When the force left, this body will start dropping. Okay? When the body start dropping, okay, this theorem says that the total summation of potential energy plus kinetic energy at this point is equals to the total summation of PE or potential energy plus kinetic energy throughout any point in this path. Okay? See out here, potential energy plus kinetic energy is equals to mgh plus 0 or is equals to mgh. Now let's assume a case when the ball dropped on the ground. Okay? When the ball dropped on the ground, okay, out here potential energy is equals to 0, but kinetic energy is equals to half mv square. Okay, where v is the velocity just before dropping the ground. This theorem says that PE or potential energy plus kinetic energy out here, or in this case, is equals to potential energy plus kinetic energy in this case. Okay, so therefore we know that mgh is equals to half mv square. M and m gets cancelled. Root over gh is equals to v. Okay. Now let's solve a problem. Okay. So now let's proceed to the next question. A particle is released from height s from the surface of Earth. At a certain height, its kinetic energy is 3 times its potential energy. The height from the surface of the Earth and the speed of the particle at that instance are respectively. Let's draw this question. The particle is situated out here. Suppose it was situated at height s. Now this particle is dropped. As this particle reaches somewhere at this point, assume height h. Out here, the potential energy, out here, the kinetic energy, out here, or at point 2, let's say this is point 2, this is point 1. The kinetic energy at point 2 is 3 times the potential energy at point 2. Okay. So when the ball is dropped from this position, at this position it will gain some velocity while falling. Okay. So the velocity is assumed to be v. Okay. So we know that kinetic energy at this point is equals to thrice the potential energy at point 2. What is kinetic energy? The formula for kinetic energy, half m v square. V is nothing but the velocity of the particle out here. Okay. Is equals to 3 times the potential energy out here. What is the potential energy out here? Potential energy is nothing but mgh, where h is the height out here. Okay. So let's cut out. Or v square is equals to 6gh. So we found out the value of v square. Okay. Now let's check at point 1. What is the potential energy at point 1? Potential energy at point 1 is mgs. What is the kinetic energy at point 1? Kinetic energy at point 1 is 0 because the ball hasn't been released yet. Okay. So therefore, total energy at point 1 is equals to mgs plus 0 is equals to mgs. Okay. Now, at point 2, what is the kinetic energy? Kinetic energy is 3 times its potential energy, or kinetic energy at point 2, or kinetic energy at point 2 is equals to 3 times its potential energy, so 3 times mgh. Okay, so can we write, if potential energy out here, let's rewrite this potential energy and kinetic energy out here. If potential energy out here is equals to mgh, kinetic energy out here becomes 3 mgh. How? It is given in the condition of the question. Kinetic energy is thrice of potential energy. Okay, so therefore total energy out here or at point 2 becomes mgh plus 3 mgh is equals to 4 mgh. 4 mgh, or total energy at point 2, is equals to mgh plus 3 mgh is equals to 4 mgh. Okay, now by conservation of energy we know that total energy, that is potential energy plus kinetic energy at point 1 is equals to total energy at point 2. Okay, total energy at point 1 is equals to total energy at point 2, or T1 is given by mgs. By conservation of energy we know that total energy at point 1 is equals to total energy at point 2, or what is potential energy at point 1? mgs, or mgs is equals to, what is the total energy out point 2? Total energy at point 2 is 4 mgh. 4 mgh. So our mg gets cut. S by 4 is equals to h. Okay, so our this option gets incorrect. So we found out the first part of the question, the height from the surface of the earth. Now we need to find out the speed of the particle. Speed of the particle is given by v square by is equals to 6gh. See, we obtained v square is equals to 6gh from half mv square is equals to 3 mgh. Okay, and h is given by s by 4. See, h is given by s by 4. So can we substitute this h out here? If we substitute that h out there, v square is equals to 6gh, and h gets substituted by s by 4, where s was the height from the initial or position 1 at which the particle was raised, or v square is equals to 6gs by 4. 2 3s are 6, 2 2s are 4, or v square is equals to 3gs by 2, or v is equals to under root of v is equals to under root of 3gs by 2. So our correct option is option number D. Correct option is option number D. Okay, s by 4 and root over 3gs by 2. Okay. So now we'll learn about a new theorem, and this is one of the most fundamental important theorem. Okay, almost every question of your in this chapter can be solved using this theorem. Okay, this is such an important theorem. Not only this chapter, most of your mechanics, this is a very important theorem. Just learned it up till now. Okay, known as work energy theorem. Work energy theorem. This theorem says that change in kinetic energy of a particle or of a body is equals to work done by all the forces, and all the forces means both conservative forces and non-conservative forces. conservative forces. Okay, now let's take an example of ball lifting up. Okay, if I lifted up the ball out here, okay, as I lifted up the ball at height h, there is a gravity force acting downwards, mg. Okay, initial velocity of the ball was equals to 0. You will remember that in kinematics we solved 2-3 formulas. V is equals to u plus at, v square is equals to u square plus 2as. We are deriving how that v square is equals to u square plus 2as came out. Okay, put initial velocity out here is equals to 0. Gravity force is mgh. Now the ball is released. When the ball is released, the only force acting on it are gravity forces, and the ball came down. So work done by gravity force is mgh. Work done by gravity force is mgh. And out here it has some velocity. Fine, just before colliding the ground. Okay, so we know that change in kinetic energy or kinetic energy out here, change in kinetic energy means final kinetic energy minus initial kinetic energy is equals to work done by all forces, conservative or non-conservative, by all forces, or summation of work done by all forces. Okay, so what was final potential energy out here? Final kinetic energy out here. Final kinetic energy out here was half mv square. Initial kinetic energy out here was half m u square, and the work done by gravity is mgh. So if we cut the m, we get v square by 2 minus u square by 2 is equals to gh, or v square minus u square is equals to 2gh, or v square is equals to u square plus 2gh. This is how the third formula for kinematics was derived. Okay, so now let's do a question. Okay. A block of mass m, it attaches to a lower end of a vertical spring. The spring is hung from a ceiling and has a force of constant value k. Has a force constant value k. The mass is released from race with the string initially unstretched. The maximum extension produced in the length of the spring will be. What is this question saying? Question is saying there is a spring of spring constant k. A mass is out there and the spring is initially at its natural length. Okay. When the spring was released, it dropped down the block dropped down by distance x. Okay, so find out the maximum distance the block dropped down. Okay, so we know that change in kinetic energy is equals to work done by all forces. Okay, so work done by spring force. We have derived in earlier class. Work done by spring force is minus of half kx square. See your previous slides. Work done by spring force is minus of half kx square. Okay, and there is one more force acting out here. In this block there was two forces, spring forces and gravity forces. The gravity forces is, or work done by gravity force is mg into x. Okay, now what was the velocity out here before dropping? The velocity out here was 0. At the end point, when the string is finally stretched and it is just about to move up or stay out there only, whatever the case, the final velocity is also 0. Okay, so change in kinetic energy, or kinetic energy final minus kinetic energy initial. Kinetic energy final is 0. Why? Half mv final square is 0 minus initial kinetic energy is also 0, is equals to work done by all the forces. So there are two forces acting on this body, spring forces and gravity forces. So work done by spring forces is half or minus of half kx square. Work done by gravity forces is plus mgx, or 0 is equals to minus of half kx square minus of half kx square plus mgx. Okay, when you shift the half kx square to the left hand side, we get mgx is equals to half kx square, or x and this get cancelled, or 2 mg by k is equals to x, or the string is length stretched by 2 mg by k. Our correct option is option number B. Okay, let's do the next question. Okay, now before proceeding to the next question, I must say something about types of work. Okay, or observation. This was literally, you should observe. Why am I getting the spelling of observe? Oh. When force is in this direction and it is getting displaced in this direction, okay, that means work done is equals to negative, okay, or negative work. When the direction of force and the direction of displacement are same, the angle between force and displacement is 0. So therefore work done is positive work. Okay, whenever the angle between force and displacement is more than 90 degree, it becomes negative work. Okay, whenever the angle between force and displacement is less than 90, it becomes positive work. And whenever the angle between force and displacement is 90, it becomes 0 work. Always observe this, okay? Don't forget this.